All right, we are doing a little series over the off season, or at least this is the idea, where we're going to talk with the champion, maybe also the runner-up on some of these from each of the past seasons that we've had, and just go through that season, talk about the teams, talk about the matchups or stats that I find looking over the draft, so that we can see what players did they pick. We'll look at trades too, from the lens of the champion mostly, and then whatever I can add to it for fun. And so,
Acting
back
like I remember from 2018.
all the way in 2018 when our league was run through ESPN. We did not have French or Jeremiah or Corey. We were a humble 10-man ESPN league that I think was running. I think we were still doing 6 and 6 categories, maybe. I don't remember if we went straight to 8 and 8 or whether it was 6 and 6 and we added some over the years. But
I don't remember.
But JW was our champion, so congratulations to him. I'm kind of doing this off the cuff because I don't like I'll be able to look at the actual Fantrax site for 2020 and on, and we can go deep into it. Championship matchups. Let's look at the score. How did it go? But for ESPN, they've nuked those old league pages, so all I have is the data that I recorded while we were going. Luckily, I recorded a lot of data, so I think we should still be able to have
Yeah.
fun with this. Um,
This is bittersweet for me because this started a fantasy drought that I don't know if I've broken since.
Not in any of the big three Funky Town sport leagues
Yeah.
because I have this basketball trophy, which JW is a part of Funky Town basketball, proudly going since 27-18, and we do have a Kemba Gaiden. I think you must have had a big Kemba Walker contribution. So JW won the 17-18 season, which of course is before the 2018 baseball season. So JW probably couldn't hear that. JW was riding high, winning 2 of the sports that year. We have a football league too, you did not win that year, as far as I'm aware. Definitely you
I've
didn't, or
never
else
won
we
a
would know
league.
you had won the Triple Crown. Uh, so
Yeah.
yeah, you were riding high. Championships in basketball the year before, championship in baseball, and then since then, Funky Town sports wise, no titles. And so
Well, and I firmly believe part of that is I am not an auction draft guy, and somewhere along this line, Justin was like, "Hey, let's do auction draft so I can get the players I want."
I felt like it was fairest to have everyone have access to every player for basketball and baseball. And we had established this salary system for basketball and football. We had established a salary system so early on as our concept for baseball, and it's the bedrock of what we do. It's why it's fun, and so like there was no going away from that for auction, or else if we were just doing like basic redraft, I would have probably wanted to do auction for baseball too. But
I
now
know.
we've
So
found over the course of a few seasons that we kind of just want to go back to Snake, so we're abandoning the auctions. And so what I hear you saying is that a
it's the
title is
fairest
coming in.
option.
What'd you say?
Fairest. I said because it's the fairest option. There's a
What
reason
is?
a snake draft or just a draft like a regular draft. If
The
it wasn't,
fairest option is everyone
absolutely,
has a budget and you pick your player based on pay more than everyone else. That's objectively more fair.
I disagree.
If you're if you're 12th in a snake, you don't have access to the first 11 players. If
Well,
you're in
yeah,
an auction, you have access to
but
everyone.
typically it's based on performance, right? So if you want
There's a sense
parity,
of like, yeah, there's a sense. I get what you're saying.
if you
Yeah,
want parity,
parity.
and you want to continue to have people enjoy the league, a snake draft is the way to go. Um,
Parity wise, I get what you're saying. That's different than fair, I guess, in my
otherwise,
brain.
otherwise, all of your major sports things or sports leagues would use auction drafts. When was the last time you saw that
That would be
happen?
wild.
When was the last time you
Tampa
saw that
Bay would
happen?
be Tampa Bay would be
It doesn't
screwed in
happen because it's
baseball.
not the best way to do it.
It's also not like, what does that even mean? You can't draft players just based on like who will pay me more, I'll go there. Like that's just not how. It's just not feasible.
Well,
Anyway, the Yankees would win every player. Anyway, or the Dodgers, I guess is what I should say. In my
unless they
brain,
put
the
us,
Yankees are still the evil empire, and yet I don't know why they haven't won in once in 23 years or whatever. Anyway, Okay. So
Sorry.
what I hear you saying is that 2026 is the year of JW, and we're going to get a title because we're going back to Snake in NFL and basketball. You've called it.
Things have to, to win a title in fantasy. A lot of things have to go your way, just like in real life, right? So I am confident that after a snake draft, I will be in position to do well. However, injuries and trades and all kinds of things can change that.
No doubt. Yes, like when you trade away your first and second round draft picks
Yes,
at
that
the
was stupid.
draft
That was after
for
after
two
the draft.
closers.
Well, it fit what I was trying to do this year,
I
but
know.
that's not.
Well,
This is not a
we,
2024
we won't talk about 2025.
or whatever
Let's
it is.
go. Let's dial it back to 2018. And the first thing I wanted to do was just quiz you really quickly. So I ask you not to cheat. And let's go a few rounds and just see if you can tell me who you picked in the 2018 inaugural draft. Again, don't cheat. I'm going to have it on the screen. I got to zoom
I'm
in
telling you
because I
right now, I
can't read
can't
it.
tell you. I can't tell you anybody.
Okay. So
It
don't
was
look
6 years
still.
ago.
I'm going to tell you
Well,
and
let's
then
look together.
we'll
How about we look
no,
together?
I'll tell you and then give me your reaction.
Okay.
I don't
All
want you to
right.
cheat down. So number one pick, you were picking ninth. I don't remember how we set the order either.
It was randomized, I believe.
Probably it should have been. We had a league before this, just behind the curtain for people that don't know, where I believe Alex came aboard this year, had never played anything before. I don't think he was with us the year before. But JW, Nate, Frank, myself, Maffey, and Matt came from a league at least one season before you and Nate were there. I had been in a league with Matt and Chris Maffey, and Frank for 5 or 6 years before Funky Town baseball ever started. And Frank and I, not to make this now about me, but Frank and just for history's sake, Frank and I were almost always, I think literally 3 years in a row we faced each other in the championship at one point. And I think he beat me twice, and I think I got him once. So that leads us into 2018. We're adding some new folks in. Bo was new. Shay, which wasn't actually Shay, it was Casey the whole time. I just never really knew that. So Casey, I need to change this. Casey, Bo, Alex, brand new as far as I know, and then Sam, who I literally never met, don't know him. It was Matt and Maffey's acquaintance from their college baseball team. He was new. So JW picks eighth, and
Ninth.
well, even before, sorry, thank you. Even before we get to your pick, the number one pick in the draft, this will always be an infamous moment in our league's history. The obvious, no doubt, first pick should have been Mike Trout. Obvious, greatest player of our generation. He's right in the peak of his powers. Unfreaking believable for fantasy. But Sam, who none of us know, takes Jose Altuve, who I think, to be fair, won the MVP the year before, but
I
just
think he did.
an unthinkable decision.
For
Uh,
a dynasty league, that was unreal. And then
it
if
was.
I remember correctly, this dude would this dude would actually criticize other people's picks. Like
In the
later in the
draft,
draft,
he was
he was
clowning
trying to
some guys.
criticize everybody's picks, and I'm sitting here like, you took Jose Altuve over Mike Trout. So that
I'm,
dude started off on a bad foot with me.
I'm pretty sure he came after Nate at one point for one of his picks, and maybe Maffey. It was
Yes.
definitely multiple barbs after doing the stupidest thing. So yeah, so Matt was then gifted Mike Trout. Arenado went next at number 3 because he was in Coors, man. That guy was hitting 40 home runs guaranteed. Mookie went next, followed by Bryce Harper. The first big gaffe, because Jose wasn't like a miss. It was just obvious that Mike Trout should have been number 1. That's what made that pick feel stupid. But Jose was still awesome. The first really big miss, I believe this is fair. I think this must have been after Stanton hit like 60-something home runs.
Yeah, I think so.
I picked Stanton in the first round, and it was not. He didn't do anything great. Charlie Blackmon goes next, then Chris Bryant. That leads us to JW's pick. This was a snake draft because it was our inaugural draft, so he has 2 of the next 4 picks. And I assume you are looking at this point. Whatever, that's fine. You grabbed Carlos Correa, I believe at the time still youngish,
Yeah.
cornerstone, can do everything, power, hitting, and then Alex snags Max Scherzer and Manny Machado. You take Clayton Kershaw, who was more or less at the peak of his powers. Max Scherzer, Kershaw, and Chris Sale, who was picked the next pick, were just they were Hall of Fame pitchers, like at that level, like at that time, all three of them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like thinking back, like I don't know if I could have been more happy with that start to that draft. Um, I know I was high on Correa just because he was young at the time, obviously, right? Like
Yeah,
he was somewhat young. He was established though. But for a dynasty league, it made sense to me. I really thought Nate was going to take him before me. I remember that. Um,
Chris
because Chris
Bryant
Bryant
also
was
MVP one of those years, in the mix, probably right before this.
yeah, and Chris Bryant to me was I don't know. I thought that was a really big gamble. I know a lot of people were really high on Chris Bryant at that time, right? So I don't
I'm
think it
pulling up
was a
some numbers, like just general stats on the side if it looks like I'm distracted. So Chris
no. You're
Bryant,
fine.
MVP in 2016. This is 2018, so he's 2 years removed from an MVP season. And then from that point forward, he made two All-Star games, probably because he was like the only person on the team that was, you know,
Yeah,
good enough. Well, they won the championship also, like somewhere right in that window. Was it 16? And he was the MVP. So he was already starting his decline, and then I was just curious on Stanton too. Let's see when that giant MVP year was. That was 2017, and so I
yeah.
picked the reigning MVP sixth. You could be like, oh, okay, I could see that, but he was MVP 19 the next year, so not
What year did he
exactly
change his
horrible.
name?
Yeah, it was early. I think it was pretty early. So
Because I
yeah,
remember the dude as Mike Stanton.
I know. The year
It's so
before,
weird to go from Mike to Giancarlo.
it's definitely different. So the year before, he had hit 59 home runs, 132 RBIs, 631 slugging, and so I picked him sixth. He fooled me. And then that year, he hit 38 homers and had 100 RBIs. He still slugged 509. Like he was good, but he wasn't. It wasn't near the same.
It
Yeah,
sounds like to me.
I don't think he
It sounds
cleared.
like to me like it sounds like to me like old Mike Stanton never took a PED in his life, and then Giancarlo might have
Maybe.
experimented, so he had to change his identity.
Well, it could be. Maybe he had to get away from the records. He's like, that was Mike. That wasn't me. So
Yeah,
you took
yeah,
Correa, great cornerstone offensive piece at a position that still doesn't. It had. We've started to get more great shortstops coming in after, but I think shortstop used to be like a weak offensive position. So if you had a
yeah.
positional advantage there, it was a big deal. You get an ace. I'm sure many people would have thought Kershaw was the best pitcher in the league at that time. It was him, Max or Sale, maybe Kluber as well. Um, so great start for you. You go shortstop, starting pitcher. It snakes all the way back around to you. Josh Donaldson, who I think had also won an MVP, like in the somewhat recent
Yeah, he was
past.
crushing the ball at third base, man. For
Yeah, he was MVP in
back in the Blue
2015.
Jay days,
Yeah, he was in the Blue
he was still
Jays
hitting the ball well though.
up until 2018 when he went to Cleveland, I think on the last year of his deal, and then that's when he started to bounce around. So like you picked him, and then he was never an all-star again. So that you probably missed on that one, but he was a big time asset. So you had to be just sitting there thinking like, "Wow, what a start!" Uh,
Yeah,
Alex takes J.D. Martinez, Freddie Freeman. Boy, Max Scherzer, Manny Machado, J.D. Martinez, and Freddie Freeman was a pretty good start for Alex. You took Luis Severino, who we've
yeah,
debated about
agreed.
sometime in the last few years. He was coming off this like he was super young, super young. Well, he was 24, but he was just coming off Cy Young 3, kind of out of nowhere. And so now you've got two elite, MVP could be feasible bats and two elite starting pitchers in your head there. Wraps all the way back around Edwin Encarnacion, who baseball moves fast, man. I haven't thought about Edwin Encarnacion in at least 5 years, it feels like. But he was a masher. And then Christian Yelich, one of the best picks ever. I think it's fair to say in any of our drafts. There were a lot of late round guys that become obviously oh my god, but he literally won the MVP this year, and then should have won the MVP the next year, but got hurt kind of near the end of the season. The next 2 seasons, so he was coming off of 859, 807 OPS in Miami. He gets traded in the offseason. He was this extreme ground ball guy. He finds a way to elevate, and then all of a sudden, 1,000 OPS, MVP, 1,100 OPS, slugging 80 points higher, but he was the MVP too. But those 2 years, that was a hell of a pick. You come back around and get Tommy Pham, which is so funny, because he's just the perennial 7 teams will own Tommy Pham in one season in our league now, because he's always good for a week and you drop him, and because it's no big deal to drop him. He used to be something. And just before, so just after your Tommy Pham pick, if I'm doing this right, we got this, snake. Just after Tommy Pham, Alex selects Billy Hamilton, and then Shohei Ohtani. Pretty good pick as well that JW just missed out on. And then JW picks Garrett Cole, the young Pittsburgh pitcher at the time, I'm assuming, with all kinds of potential. Let me make sure that he was indeed. I think he was in Pittsburgh at the time. That was a while back.
I'm pretty sure he was.
Oh, you know what? He had just left Pittsburgh and gone to Houston. But
okay, that makes sense.
He had only had one top Cy Young consideration season up to that point, and then 18, and then the years following, Cy Young 5, 2, 4, 2. So in the 8th round, also 9th round, hell of a pick. Very, very impressive. And we don't need to go through every single player literally, but the rest of your lineup. You had Castellanos. Didi Gregorius was a pretty big deal for a few years back there. It's funny, man. Like I said, MLB moves fast, man. Brett Gardner and John Gray, Jeff Samardzija. Eric Thames just popped on the scene one year for the Brewers and hit 30 home runs.
I think
Max
I started to
Kepler.
go heavy. I went heavy. This is honestly part of the reason I think I actually won the league is because I started to go heavy prospects when nobody else did. And I think as the season progressed, people realized some of these prospects, and I think I used them for some trade bait, if I believe.
Yeah, we're going to go straight
helped
there
propel
after
me.
this. Definitely.
So
I'm seeing.
I mean, if you look at the number of these dudes that I drafted that ended up becoming at least something serviceable, it's not bad.
I can't remember exactly which of these guys was a prospect at that exact moment, but I'm highlighting Walker Buehler, Miguel Andujar, Jack Flaherty, Austin Riley, Tyler Mahle, and Herman Marquez. These are in the 30s.
I think
We're talking with all these picks.
Francisco Mejia was too.
Yeah, he didn't quite pan out, but he was.
But he
a
was
prospect
a top.
too.
He was a top 3
You went
prospect
for
in
the
the organization when I drafted him.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this, looking back, since
And I
this will
ended
be
up
our
with
only 2018. Go ahead.
And I looked, so it put me in a position where I had several teams' top prospects at that time, where nobody else, you look through this draft, nobody else was, other than Nate, was really drafting prospects.
Other than Nate. And because this will be the only time we touch on 2018 in a video like this, Nate was the first one to delve into the prospect pot and pluck the guy, Ronald Acuna, round 15. Pretty good value for that first series, that first 5 years. And then I I had been waiting for someone to do it, and I then scooped in round 17. I went Ozzy Albies, another top prospect, obviously. At the time, he was a top of the list kind of prospect. But then late, you two start going back and forth on prospects. You take Bueller, he takes Victor Robles. Jesse Winker was got to be a prospect at that time too. Then he takes Vlad
He was
Jr.
100% right.
You take Andujar, you take Flaherty, he takes Tatis, and you take Austin Riley, the next pick. Can we talk about that? Round 35, back-to-back picks of Tatis and Austin Riley. You dropped
Yeah,
Austin
isn't
Riley
that
that
crazy?
season too.
I
Kyle
did.
Tucker.
You didn't do
He
nothing
took
that
Kyle.
year.
No, yeah, it's too early. He took Kyle Tucker in round 37. Just imagine having that contract in round 37. And then
Yeah.
Maui, he took Chance Sisco as a prospect, Herman Marquez, and Julio Urias. So you guys really just dove straight in. I think you were way ahead of the curve there. I didn't take
Hey, how
any,
about
except for
Alex? How
Albies.
about Alex taking Dylan Cease with the Mr. Irrelevant pick?
Oh, wow. I did not know. That's a fun trivia fact. Mr. Irrelevant from our first draft was Dylan Cease. He also took Eloy Jimenez, Nick Senzel, Sixto Sanchez, AJ Puck. Those were big prospects too. Also Joe Mauer. Shout out to Joe Mauer. I didn't know he existed in our fantasy league, round 37. And because I am here in the video, I have to fess up about my picks of Stanton, Votto, Strasburg, Brian Dozier, Reese Hoskins, Nelson Cruz. I don't think any of the 6 of those panned out. But guess who finished?
Hey,
Guess who finished third? I still got money
Votto walked.
after this team.
Votto walked a lot.
Votto. The fun fact for me was this of this draft. I had Joey Votto as the number 1 player after I did my statistical analysis, and I had Joey Votto as number 1 above everyone. I wasn't stupid enough to take him in the first because I knew I could get him in the second. I might have could have got him in the third. I don't know, but I had Votto because of the walks. I thought, I bet you people aren't going to value walks when we go to this, and Votto is the king. This was a disastrous start for me. Anyway, let's look through the newly updated and refined trade log, and let's see any deals that involved you. Well, we'll just keep it on everybody and I'm not going to stop on every little deal, but if there's a fun deal that we can talk about 2018 wise, like I said, we're not coming back to this probably for a bit. So your first deal occurred in the July 1st with Alex. You acquired Freddie Freeman and Corey Seager, who Alex only had because Sam dropped him because he had zero understanding of how this keeper system was going to work. And Alex was first on the waiver wire. And I recall Nate has told me that he offered Alex a trade to basically give him his waiver pick because he was trying to get Corey Seager. Everyone wanted Corey Seager. So JW acquires Freeman and Seager for Kershaw. Again, top of his game. Andujar and Moreland. I asked ChatGPT to tell me, and ChatGPT says that JW secured elite core bats at scarce positions, while Alex paid too much for name value and aging production. Maybe that's a shot at Mitch Moreland. I don't know. I need to rethink the logic of these because some of these analyses that they put out, I don't quite think I buy. But that was a huge move for you. Freeman and Seager, yeah, you gave up Kershaw, but Andujar and Moreland really weren't anything much. You added 2 premium bats.
Right.
Yeah,
Andujar had just gotten. I think he just actually got called up due to an injury,
Oh wow,
and he, if I remember correctly, and he had performed well for a few weeks.
He was a good keeper too on $1.69, which just sounds laughable now to think about dollar players. Scrolling down, you made a deal with Nate. You offloaded Josh Donaldson, and this is the trade that I think was the highest rated of all the first-year trades by ChatGPT. You offload Josh Donaldson, who we already referenced, never made another All-Star team. And in return, you got $1.50, 35th round, Fernando Tatis.
Yeah, and then I ended up trading him again.
You did, but nonetheless, visionary deal. ChatGPT says you acquired a franchise-defining young star while Nate traded away elite long-term value for short-term production. They gave you an 85 out of 100 for that. That was an A. Big deal. So now, over the course of your first two trades, you've acquired Freddie Freeman, Corey Seager, and Tatis. Wild.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
You then pivot and take Tatis, as well as Pham and James Paxton, who's good. You know, your sixth and ninth round picks. You package up Tatis, who still hadn't really shown exactly what he was. We all were optimistic. And in return, you get Ohtani and Juan Soto. So your net now is you have acquired Freeman, Seager, Ohtani, and Soto. Just crazy.
Soto was a free agent, right? Soto came out of nowhere that season.
I traded him. I acquired Soto. I was the visionary who saw, Juan Soto. Let me go ahead and trade him
I'm sure you did.
as just extra fodder to get a good player, because who knows, this kid could easily go away and we never hear from him again. So I traded Juan Soto with Jake Arrieta, Blake Trinan, and Asdrubal Cabrera to get J.D. Martinez. I believe that was maybe even a worse score than the Nate deal with you. It gave me like a terrible. I overpaid for short-term star power, while giving up a cornerstone asset, basically. So yeah, I had picked up Juan Soto, traded him to Alex as just kind of extra fodder to get JD Martinez. He then flips him to you because he really wants that Tatis asset. But now you have added Freeman, Seager, Ohtani, and Soto. And then you flip 3 for 1, Kepler, Gurriel, and Malley on good deals, all, for Jake Arrieta, who I also had given Alex in the same deal. So, but Jake Arrieta was big time. So you were down Kershaw, you add Arrieta. I don't think Ohtani was pitching back at that time. Maybe he was.
He was. I don't know. I don't think he was.
I can't remember. You then acquire Carlos Martinez and a seventh for Shohei. So if he wasn't pitching, you've at least acquired an elite pitcher. Carlos Martinez was really good. But obviously you traded Shohei. So that's tough.
Yeah, but Shohei at that point wasn't Shohei. Let's be clear.
Yeah, I can't remember what year he really started to pop and look like. Oh, man. But that had to be pretty close to the beginning of his time.
It was, but there was a ton of hype, right?
Yeah. I mean, he was an 8th round pick or
Japanese
9th round pick. Yeah. He wasn't the MVP. So that was his first season.
Yeah.
That was his first season. He hit 22 home runs on 285. And did he pitch? He did pitch. He had 51 innings of 3.31 ERA with 11 strikeout per 9. So he showed the flashes, but you could still very much question, like, is this legit? He also went down and didn't pitch the next year. So I don't know at what point he got injured. Anyway, so you then sold Flaherty and Marquez. Interesting, because you won this year. But you sold Flaherty and Marquez, who were both good and both super cheap, for a first, a second, and an 8th. So that was interesting. Do you remember what you were like? You didn't know you were going to win it, but like you just must have seen that was good enough value for you to just say, you know what, I'm just going to take it. You were not selling. Obviously, you weren't selling because you went to win. But
Flaherty and Marquez weren't doing a whole lot at that point either.
Oh, really?
They were just being hyped up.
Yeah, Nate was already looking
and Flaherty
ahead.
had a good start to the year. Yeah.
Okay, so then we move to this slew of moves. Oh, you know what? Wait a minute.
I totally jumped. There.
I totally jumped the gun. I already moved way past our season. Hang on. Yeah, I didn't prep for this at all. I am, but the actual date, these were off-season moves. So I'm sorry. So the only real move... I should have filtered out the off season. That would have been an easy thing to do. So let me just take off season out. If you take the off season out, these are the only moves that occurred in 2018 during season. Literally, what you see on the screen, that's
Yeah.
it. Okay, well, that was still a fun walk down memory lane. I'll get it right next time. But you really only made one super move, which was to acquire Freeman and Seager and to deal Kershaw. Those other moves happened in the off season. Make a little more sense now,
Gotcha.
including the sell. So
Yep.
yeah, don't really
Okay.
have any big thing really to talk about in terms of player acquisition then the
I just
only
think
thing I think we
I
can.
think I had a good year. I hit well in the draft and made a few moves that or made a move that really bolstered my offense
So
and things
here's the
happened.
chart. Sorry, I think we might have almost like a little delay going. I don't mean to keep stepping on your toes.
No, you're all right. And then look,
Here's the chart.
things fell the right
So
way.
for sure, yeah, for sure. So here is the you were off to a 3-1 start, if you will, right? Obviously, we're categories back then too, just like
Yeah.
now. But you won 5 of your first 6 matchups. You won 9 of your first 11 matchups. But then as the season progressed, you started to kind of lose. You were like lose, win, lose, tie, lose, win, tie. So it doesn't look like you were looking like this dominant force.
I don't
In
think I ever felt
fact,
dominant that year.
there was a dominant force in the league, it appears to me,
It was
as this black indicates a stretch where you faced the entire league and you did not lose.
right.
And so from week 9 on, I did not lose. This is the story of my life. I get a bye. I'm one of the top teams. And you'll note in the beginning, I said JW beat Frank in the finals. So one of them knocked me out immediately. I was number 1 seed on this incredible win streak. First time playoffs come around. I'm looking like I could win it. Instant loss. And I don't know if I have in this
The actual
the
playoff
schedule.
battle. Yeah.
No, but I do have it. I do have it. It's just let me find it real quick. So my drive. Peek behind the curtain here. Funky Town Fantasy Sports Baseball. Research help. Historical data. ESPN era matchups. So this is our 2018 season. So in the playoffs, Frank beat me 8-6-2. Ignore these dates. They shouldn't be formatted like dates, but they are, and nothing I can do about it.
I get it.
You bested Matt 10-5-1. You were the Racine Bells. I guess I didn't even say that. That was your name back then, which was the playoff of Alex's Rockford Peaches from a league of their own. And in the finals, we had JW versus Frank, and you killed him 11-4-1. I don't have the stats, but it was a pretty dominant win in both rounds. It looks like it wasn't that
we
close.
Were at 8. We were at 8 stats apiece. We were at 8-8. That tells us that.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, so we were using the same basis. It's just that a few of those stats eventually changed. I think for a while we used the raw number of strikeouts
Yeah.
and wins.
Yeah, and let's one thing. I don't think this year the first year we didn't have any real true dominant teams other than you looked dominant for a while, but it wasn't like the super team era had ever started, right? So I felt like things had to fall in place at the right time, and they just did. I mean, I don't think I did anything special. I think I made some good moves and I drafted well, and I still think drafting prospects helped me because I did trade a few, but I don't know if it helped me win that year. And then to be very clear, I went a little trade crazy and went from first to worst, right?
Yeah, which we could examine that, but yeah, it's definitely
let's not
not
examine
because
that now. Let's just move on from that. I like to forget about
we
those
can.
days, and
We can.
I just had a phone call, so I'm probably gonna have to jump off here in a minute.
I got you. Well, then before we go, really quick, just to look at your like at the VTL numbers. So you were the second highest VTL in the season that year. I still tracked VTL all the way back then. Um, and like I used to do this too, which was
Yep.
kind of fun sometimes just to see like where you were. You were this red line. So there was a point at which you were the top dog. We were all neck and neck. You kind of took a little dip at the end, but you still finished in second, which at the time the top three seeds all got a bye. It was
Right.
just the wild cards who didn't. So anyways, we can let you go, but yeah, it was fun. I think we'll do this for all the different years. If we could get the champion and the second place or something on too, we'll do this more. But I'll let you go. But that was fun.
Yeah, man. Enjoyed it. Hit me up when if you do a basketball video. Well, if you do one right now, it's fine. I don't have time right now, but
Yeah, yeah.
so
I'm gonna probably just finish it out and just do it right now. But yeah, I'll end this one. All right, man. Did see ya.